Welcome to Life Hacks Beyond Convention with Dee and Sonia.
I went and saw my horse,
Nah.
but she was really, keen to see me, called out to me. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. 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 Has it been a while since you've been over there or?
I get there weekends mostly. I don't get there during
Yeah,
the
just
week.
each week then.
And
Yeah.
she's in a yard on her own, and she's got horses next to her, but no physical touch.
Mm.
So, which has sort of been good because it's strengthened our bond in a lot of ways.
Mm.
So I got out on Sunday out of the car, loaded some hay and stuff, and she was fairly close. I was fairly close to the yard. And Pauline, my trainer, just called out to me and said, I'll come around for a drink. And I turned around and walked towards her, which is away from Kelly. And Kelly was sort of like head up, knickered. And I went, oh no, because she has a habit of getting between electric fences.
Oh, yeah.
And she's trying to get to me. So I went, no, I'll go back and give her a carrot and a bit of a scritch, and then I'll head off.
Then I'll head over. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so it is interesting to have that stronger bond. Left brain introvert horses are very interesting.
I kind of, because I've got one of my daughter's cats here at the moment, but, I'm looking after. And I don't know. I go through ups and downs like when the cat's not here, which would either be because it's gone back to my daughter or
Mm.
because something's happened to her. But she's getting pretty old now. She's 18 or 19. So one of those things will occur at some point in the next little while. And I think, do I want another animal? And I'm not sure. They're really nice companions, aren't they?
They
But
are, yes. Yeah.
but gee, they take up a lot of work, don't they?
Um, yeah, and like you said, you'll have times where you're enjoying them, but there's other times if you're working and doing something else, and it's just like they're a pesky little brat. So
Hmm.
Peanut likes to come in a couple of times a day and claw at my leg, even if I'm busy. And
Mm,
it's like, "Oh, I want you to come outside and play, you know." And
mm,
she doesn't
mm.
give up. So
No, they don't, do they?
no. Oh, yeah, border collies, good grief. Jack Russells don't, that's for sure.
Mm.
So
Well,
she
not
can
with my
be.
cat,
And,
or the
other,
cat, I should
yeah,
say.
and other times we've got a dog bed under the desk and she'll come in and she'll crawl up in that and just
Mm,
sleep for a couple of hours. So yeah, love them to bits, but it's sometimes a love-hate relationship, not a real hate,
mm.
but yeah. Mm.
They are definitely good companions,
Yeah,
especially if you're on your own.
yes.
But yeah, it's just all those responsibilities that come with it. And I think, because I've thought at different times getting a little dog, like some of
Mm.
those little dogs are quite cute.
Yeah.
And and the beauty of them is it doesn't matter how big your house is, if it's just a little dog, they can still,
Cope.
um, yeah, that's right.
Mm.
And a lot of the small dogs too, you don't need to worry if you're not able to exercise them as much because they need less exercise. So
Yes.
they're happier with a smaller walk and
Yeah.
whatnot. But man, you've got to pick up dog poo
Yeah.
unless you live somewhere where you've got big paddocks. But I don't.
Yeah. You
So this is
still
one
have
of the
to pick
down
up dog poo because they're still
dog
going to
poo.
do it on the lawn, on the house lawn. So
Oh well,
yeah.
yeah, that's the pain.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Speaking
yeah,
of
it's all
the
right
dog,
if they go out in the paddocks, but
yeah.
yeah, as soon as they're doing it, and like if you're walking around the town, you got to
Mm.
take your little doggy bag with
Yeah.
you, and it's just like, so I look and think,
Do I
I'm
want to
not,
do that?
yeah, I don't want to do that. I
Yeah.
know that, so it's like,
Mm.
does the wanting of the dog outweigh the responsibility
Yeah.
that goes with it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So then that's the cats, and probably I'm slightly more a cat person than a dog
Yep.
person.
Mm.
Um, but then you've got the whole, because um, even by law, cats have to be locked up at night,
Mm. Yes.
from sun down to sun up,
Mm.
um, which I've always had cats inside
Yeah.
overnight anyway. And most of my cats have been 90% indoor.
Yeah.
Though the cat at the moment, she does go out the back a little bit. The thing
Mm.
is, you don't want them, well, depends, because if you've got mean cats in the neighbourhood, they
Mm.
just get
Yes.
bites and it's just you end up having to go to the vet. And
Yeah.
so anyway, so because you've got indoor cats, now you've got cat trays you've got to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, though I do find a cat tray easier to manage than dog poo.
Yeah.
I can see
But
puddles
even
on
a
your face.
budgie, even a budgie.
Oh,
dog poo
exactly. So even a
is
bird.
poo.
Well, actually, I find birds, because I did have birds there at one point, they flap and their seeds go everywhere.
Yep. Mm.
So they're actually messier than the cat or the dog.
Yes, in some ways, yes, they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
if you want
yeah,
to do something, you've got to, they can be a burden. So it's whether it fills a gap in the loneliness thing. But you don't strike me as someone who gets lonely. Or if you want
I don't think,
socialization,
because
you go
it's
look for it. Yeah.
no, because interestingly, I've been watching a lady on YouTube. She's Australian, so she lives in
Yeah.
Western Australia, and she's got a van that she's been living in the last, I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe 3 or 4 years. Can't remember exactly how long, but for a while now, anyway. And I've been following her for 2 or 3 years at least. But she's got a dog, so she's in her 60s, this lady, or late 50s, 60s, something like that, around my age anyway. And and she's really attached to this dog, and you can just tell by the people that are in her community that a lot of them are obviously attached to animals as well.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting a little while back, because she just loves her dog. Like, she really finds her dog quite gives her a lot of companionship. But even she was saying, she doesn't think that when something happens to her dog, she doesn't think she'll replace her, because it does limit what she can do, even to the point of being able to camp in national parks and things.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. She said there's one place, she was just saying in one of her videos recently, she was saying that she's actually trained her dog because in this particular one, the dog is allowed in the national park, because they're not in all of them, but this one you are. But they have baits out for wild dogs, so it's like you can't actually let you. But they've trained it. They get their last thing, and then they leave first thing, so the dog doesn't actually go out for a walk in the national parks, and the dog's really quite happy. They go somewhere close by for their walks and whatnot. But just even having to manage and think of all these things, isn't it? You've got to weigh up, is the companionship worth all of the other allowances that you have to make in your life? And I think for me, at this stage in my life, maybe, I don't know, maybe not. It's hard to know, isn't it? I don't think so, though. I don't think so. I think mostly I don't get lonely. I do get lonely sometimes, but not huge amounts.
Yeah. And you're a person who acts on situations. So if you get lonely, you're going to go and do something about it, generally.
Well, that's it. I'll just, if you need to join a new club or something.
Yeah. The biggest thing I see is people buying the wrong dog breeds, particularly, because I know, well, we've got a Marama, we've got 9 acres. 9 acres is not enough. She needs 15 to 20. She's managing. She's just decided to adopt 2 roads and a number of neighbours. So she lets us know when the kids come home from school, when they go to school. And lots of people have bought those to go on a normal block, and it just ends up a disaster. And then they'll buy working dogs and put them on a normal block of land. It's, that
was with the border collies, because I had a border collie years ago, and when I moved into town, I actually had to find a new home for her, because I think there's quite a lot of border collies around this area, actually, but you can tell most of the people that own them, most of them, I can't say all of them, but a lot of them are sports people, so they're actually going out doing the running and whatnot. But like a border collie needs to, can run 80 kilometres a day. Like that is a lot of exercise.
Yes.
You just can't get that on a town block unless you really are committed to you yourself going out for at least a 10 or 20 run twice a day. 20K run.
And if certain herding dogs don't have a herd to look after, they may herd the children and they may use teeth. So it's really thinking about the brain type of the dog and is it going to fit your situation and your family and your geography. So
We had another working dog one time, and she just loved herding things. So she used to herd our chooks.
yep, chooks, ducks,
well, and-
anything they can.
And they'll literally herd them till the poor animals die.
Yes, they will.
Unless
Yeah,
you,
and so
unless you realise what they're doing and intervene.
yeah.
Mm.
We've got
But-
our ex-neighbours had to move from their small acreage and living in a much smaller situation. So they come up here for play dates. I've actually put some videos of their dogs flying through my house because they get so excited, and so do ours when they come. So I open the front door and they just go straight through the house, out the dog door to find them. It's just crazy, but it's a lot of fun because there's that exuberance and yeah. So it's good that they come up a couple of times a week and let the dogs have a really good belt around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big run and
Yes,
spend
yeah.
a lot of
So
energy.
they've found a way to mitigate the situation where they've had to downsize. Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. We look at, because some people can even be tricked with thinking, oh, this is a small dog, so it won't need any exercise. But actually, some small dogs do.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. And then even like, because one thing, greyhounds are actually quite good if you're a little bit sedentary because they don't need much exercise. And you think they
Yeah.
would, wouldn't you? Because they're racing dogs.
But they're absolute couch potatoes. Greyhounds are couch
Yeah.
potatoes, and the ones that really need exercise are the dashhounds.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yes.
perfect example.
They need
of where a small
and they
dog
will
needs
drag you all over
exercise.
the country with their little short legs.
Yep. Yeah. So you're right. We do need to really consider
Yeah.
how we live life as to
Yeah.
which dog, not just go by, oh, I really like the look of that dog,
Yeah.
which is, sometimes we can be swayed by that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll have Peanut. She's a Jack Russell for probably another 5+ years, but then she'll be quite old. And Grace will have probably for another 8 or more, but we'll never get another Marama after her because we'll be too old. And our housing situation may change too. You don't know. So, yeah, we've sort of had those conversations about how do we mitigate. And we've also put in our wills to have a stipend for the animals. And because we've got a sulphur crested that may live another 80 years, we've made it for 80 years. So that, extenuating circumstances, it'll be looked after with some form of charity or something like that. And yeah. But yeah, you have to plan for...
Would the charity be able to adopt the bird out, or you'd keep it with the charity?
I think we'd leave it up to whoever's handling our estate. There's a couple of different people that might be doing that. There may be a great nephew that wants to have the bird, so it would be up to them to discuss. And if they couldn't, then there's there's places.
The other options,
Yeah, and they would just get a certain amount each month to, And with the Marama, we did ask when we picked her up, because she's a rescue, if she could go back to that farm, should they? So how they'd manage her there, I don't know, because she's now she's a house dog. So, So I imagine, if one of us gets sick, we'll talk deeper about that then. And talk to others.
That's it. That's it.
I'm
There's no
not
point borrowing trouble, is there?
No, exactly. So, but just being aware that you do have to think about your animals when you get older, that you know something might happen, you might not be around. Well, I guess you've really got to think about that all the time.
Well, you do, don't you?
Yeah.
What if? Yeah. We can't be focused on that, but it does need to be consideration.
Hit the subscribe button below if you want to follow Life Hacks Beyond Convention.